What's up, everybody?
You caught me mid-sip? You fuck, really?
I did catch you mid-sip.
You piece of shit. I haven't even, taken my gum. I haven't even... Gotta have gum. Stave off that cotton mouth, yo.
Oh, God.
Okay. Welcome.
Yeah.
It is... Oh, yeah. Happy Mandalorian Eve, Brad.
Happy Mandalorian Eve. Oh, because it's Thursday. Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
It is. I have a hellacious weekend coming up, jam-packed, so we decided to do this tonight. And of course,
my wife's about ready to pop.
this is true. Yeah, so literally any day now, that kid could be coming.
That's exactly what the doctor told us, because her words exactly were, any day now, if it doesn't happen by the 29th, we're inducing.
Well, there you go. Kiddo's on the way. Yeah. So, as such, folks, we do have a contingency plan. Okay? In the event that our young Master Bradford has to bail midstream, in the interest of being smart-ass buffoons, we have a contingency plan. Brad, show them the contingency plan.
Boop.
Boom. Yeah, that's it. So if anything happens and that screen pops up, you will likely still be able to hear me. So I will probably awkwardly worm my way through like an old-time news broadcast. That's my only plan. That's just it from Hawaii. The Japs have bombed Pearl Harbor. So, yeah, it's Mandalorian Eve. Chuck Westcott is in the house, everyone. That's it. Stream's over. Stream's over, man.
Stream's over. Yeah, we're done.
That's it. We cannot go any higher than Chuck Westcott in the audience. There, we've blasted right past the ceiling, folks. Shit, where was I? I'm also very high, as per norm. I got you doing that 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the show.
You did.
This is going to be a good night.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But so Mandalorian drops tomorrow. Of course, we're not talking about that. We've gone over this. We're not talking about the Mandalorian yet. But we also decided to do this on the same day as Kat Kennedy and Bob Iger rubbed their collective dicks across our face with a bevy of new content. Like, oh my goodness. Like, Hayden is coming back as Vader.
Kenobi.
For Kenobi. We're getting the Bad Batch anime. Shut that cat up. We are live.
I've got like 3 of them.
Have some respect for the audience. Bad Batch animated series. What else? Cassian Andor is confirmed that they're... Well, he already told Jimmy Kimmel that they're filming. The Acolyte, which looks really interesting. High Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Rangers of the New Republic. It's not Power Rangers, so I'm only like...
half invested in all that.
I'm like 63% excited for that. Now you throw a Dragon Zord in there, you got my money. What else? The Ahsoka series. I mean,
yes.
Live action Ahsoka. Dude, like we're in, and then dude, Patty Jenkins directing a Star War. And a Star War, and a Rogue Squadron movie at that. Rogue Squadron?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, like, this is what I look forward to the most with Rogue Squadron. Yes, it's Patty Jenkins, so it's going to be executed to a, like, surgical, precise level of awesome. But, I look forward the most to the cuts on YouTube of X-Wing action overlaid with Kenny Loggins. Like, I want X-Wings and Y-Wings and Danger Zone and Iceman, baby. You give me Maverick with an X-Wing.
You have Poe Dameron.
Okay, no, but like, there was no danger zone. He had the danger. He didn't have the zone. And there was no gratuitous volleyball scene with yet another Kenny Loggins song playing in the background. Like, I need a little playing with the boys. I need a little slow motion high five.
You need some heterosexual action. Dude,
I don't care how blatantly homosexual that was. That was a sexy scene. I mean, damn. I mean, you gotta recognize that in the 80s, they had some beautiful people. Val Kilmer, not so much these days.
Yeah, I was about to say.
No, he looks like if cottage cheese did meth. That's kind of what Val Kilmer's rocking right now. Yeah, but anyway, all of this drops today. And then you and I come on here to be like, let's talk about redemption.
It's determination.
No, is it determination or redemption tonight?
It's determination. We did redemption.
No, we haven't. No, we did hope last time.
Yeah.
We're doing redemption because I told people we're doing redemption for like a week and a half now. So, yeah.
Kevin.
Did you title the video Determination?
I did.
Nice.
Not only that, we don't even have redemption. Oh, wait, do we have redemption?
Yep.
We do. We should. I remember that being on there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Awkward.
Very awkward. Wait, this is the fourth one we're doing, right?
Yeah. No, it's third.
It's only the third?
Yes, sir.
That's my mistake then.
Okay, well then, fuck it. We're talking about determination tonight.
Yes, we are.
Let's do that.
Yes.
Let's do that. Okay.
Pander.
Well, no, like the hard thing is like I was all prepared for like the Schadenfreude of talking about my greatest fuck ups and how I like got back from that.
I've literally got the window open. I can edit the title. We can do redemption.
Do that because I'm ready for that one. I've had them wheels spinning for a while. Just in case you folks were wondering just how professional we are.
We're not. We're really not.
Okay. Hold on. Wait a minute. Chuck in this chat. Danger Pone. It's solid gold. That is 24. That is 24 karat, my friend. Danger Pone.
Oh gosh.
Anyway. So yeah, I've been preparing myself for this specific topic because it is, it's rather heady, you know? And again, like it goes back to like Schadenfreude. We're basically going to be I'm basically going to be airing not all my dirtiest laundry, but some fairly dirty laundry about myself. Maybe not my proudest moments. And
it's going to be a fun one for me.
Oh yeah, I mean, because like, so the Schadenfreude is just, it's everywhere on this one. You know, if misery makes you horny, you're in for a good show.
I need to get my good tube sock.
The good tube sock. I dig it. So let's go ahead and kick this off, right?
All right.
Is the title changed first? Should we make sure the title is changed?
I'm working on it. YouTube's having some errors. Don't worry about it.
Just good man.
Keep going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So redemption as a concept is obviously integral to Star Wars. It's one of those main pillars of the saga, right? I mean,
yes.
The entire original trilogy is part and parcel Anakin's story of redemption. The sequel trilogy ends in Ben's redemption. There's micro redemptions in there too. Luke showing up on Crate, sparking hope in the galaxy or keeping the hope alive in there. That was a redemption of sorts. Obi-Wan mentoring Luke or even watching over Luke his entire life could be seen as an act of redemption on his part. You know, guilt for having trained what would become Darth Vader. So as such, I find that has a very interesting connection because, you know, that is something that I think makes Star Wars I think that's one of the things that makes it so relatable is I think all of us on some level have fucked up something. and we've had to, move heaven and earth to redeem ourselves, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Granted, it doesn't all have galactic consequences, like Vader turned into the dark side. None of us took a saber to a 5-year-old.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, folks, the soon-to-be father said that, not the not the childless one over here. So I think that's one of the things that makes it so relatable, is because we can all plug ourselves into that, man. Be like, oh yeah, I knackered that one up pretty bad and pissed some people off, and it took a while to regain that trust. I mean, like, in essence, that's the only issue I have with redemption in Star Wars, is that this is going to sound pretentious, but it's not realistic to life. Do you know what I mean?
Because there's everything else that's realistic to life in Star Wars.
I know. I realized that I was the minute it came out of my mouth, I realized how internet snobby that came off. Like, well, it doesn't really mirror reality. I get that, but my issue with it is in the instance of Vader's redemption.
Yeah.
Only one person was there to witness that. Right?
Yeah.
And what, you're supposed to just take the dude's word for it?
Well, I mean, Ahsoka did.
That meme, or that piece of art that was floating around the internet for a while of Luke telling Ahsoka broke me. Backwards. It bent me backwards. It was so good. But again, you're supposed to just take Luke's word for it. This is a guy. Vader was a guy that razed cities, that massacred people. He was at best complicit in Alderaan. And not only that, he held his daughter by force and made her watch her world get kaploded. In addition to torturing her. And you're just supposed to take Luke's word. Nah, man, he was cool. He's kind of a dick in the middle there, but by the end he was a good guy. You're supposed to just take his word for it?
Yeah. Well, Charles says, is it the scale of redemption?
No, I don't know. Here's the thing. Trust is broken in a microsecond, and it takes years to rebuild. You don't build trust back like that. I'm speaking from experience on that one. It takes a long time, and you have to commit yourself every day to rebuilding that, or to gain it back. And you can't bullshit your way through that. You have to commit to it, and you have to be sincere, and it has to be your actions that speak. It can't be superficial. And none of the characters in Star Wars, or the villains, I should say, none of the villains in Star Wars that are redeemed, Vader or Ben, none of them have to do that, because conveniently they die, right? They're
it is the quicker option.
Yeah, and I get it. I get it from a storytelling perspective, right? For us, the audience, we want it to be wrapped up with a nice little bow on it in 2 hours and 35 minutes, and then we can go about our day and feel the warm fuzzies. But that's not how life works. It doesn't work that way. If Vader survived, right? What are the odds, do you think, that the New Republic doesn't execute him?
That's a good question.
Right?
That's fair.
And then
unless he just does the Jedi option, disappears for 20 plus years.
I mean, obviously, Luke would not allow the New Republic to just execute Vader, or Anakin rather. And honestly, from Anakin's perspective, if I was in that situation, I'd survived throwing Palpy down a tube, and the New Republic now, the nascent New Republic now has me, and they're like, well, You're out of there, pal. I don't think I'd be like, oh, well, this is egregious. You know, like I'd probably be like, yeah, you know, you guys got a point. I was kind of a dick. And
I fake news.
oh God, that would. 6 more weeks. 6 more weeks. Anyway, like seriously though, like, come on, right?
No, I get it. I feel like Anakin would be like, no, yeah, I was a dick. It's
Yeah,
understandable.
and that's the thing. Like those characters, that's why they had to die because there's no walking that back. Like
you can't take that shit back.
like if you're Anakin, you killed children.
Did he call backsies?
No, there's no
No.
take backs, pal. Like, come on, you know. Which is again, like, as the audience member, redemption is a relatable human thing, but
Yeah.
not to that scale, right? Not to that scale. Nobody's offering Mussolini a redemption arc. Like,
Yeah.
nah. Stalin doesn't get a take back. You know what I mean? But on a smaller scale, you know, we've all been there. Whether we intentionally did something stupid and hurtful to somebody, or we inadvertently did something stupid and hurtful to somebody, we have all been there. And, you know, if you know you did something wrong, it's like instant shame, right? And you're almost shamed into like unfucking that mistake. Or you're an asshole and you just don't care. Like you're a sociopath or some shit, which I'm not. So, I mean, help me out here. Like, do you get what I'm trying to?
I get it. It's different. So different types of being a sociopath, honestly. But
Right.
yes, I mean there are. I mean, that's the thing. Redemption requires you to want to be redeemed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to want it before you can get it.
Right. And I think that's the thing with Kylo and Vader or in Anakin. I don't think they necessarily wanted redemption in that sense. They just wanted to save people they loved.
Well, Kylo and Vader, not so much. But I mean, once they get to the point where they want to be redeemed, it's Ben and Anakin.
Yeah, and what's interesting though is I think that there's other types of redemption in Star Wars, right?
We got a happy Hanukkah in the chat.
That is my wife.
Yeah.
She is 2% European Jewish, according to Ancestry DNA. And that is the first night of Hanukkah. So, shalom, dear.
I'm looking for my lighter.
So,
I think it's in the bedroom.
but there's smaller scale redemption in Star Wars too, man. Like, I think about Luke in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
You know, his act of redemption is force projecting himself onto Crate and sacrificing his own life, you know. And it's different because Luke didn't necessarily his only sin was giving up hope. You know, that was his only sin. Maybe thinking about killing his nephew for 2 seconds. Maybe. I mean,
He just doesn't have the same speed as his dad.
what's the statute of limitations on like a fleeting thought? I'm just curious.
I mean, it depends on how fast you move, but
Like, okay, I see. So, but that, you know, even that action of doing that on Crate is, you know, an example of him redeeming himself. And, you know, maybe that's, to me, that's one of the more relatable ones for me, because I personally think there was an element of shame there.
oh yeah.
And definitely guilt for, you know, failing in the way he did. And guilt, of course, for thinking about killing his nephew.
Well, yeah, but I mean, before he even walks out of the base, just being a force projection, he walks in, and one of the first thing and the only things he does is tell Leia how sorry he is.
Yeah. I am. The commitment to redemption is relative to the level of remorse. Maybe. If I had to loop this around into my own life experience, there are not many things that I regret in this life. One of them was dropping out of high school. That's pretty high up there. And the idea of redeeming myself from that, even though it's kind of a self-own in a way, I'm not really any worse off for having done that. I did get my GED, or good enough degree, as I call it. Maybe it took me a little longer to get where I am in life due to that, but the shame element definitely comes into play when, I have people in my life remark about how smart I am, right? When they like to remark how clever I am. That bothers me because on a fundamental level, I'm like, I'm not smart. Literally couldn't finish school. Could not finish school. Like, that is, and that maybe was partially one of the driving factors to, how hard I work now and how hard I push myself to do things now, because I'm possibly overcompensating for the lack of drive, the lack of ambition, the lack of discipline that I had at that time. So that's kind of what makes it so relatable for me to Luke, because, it was, Luke having that moment where he thought he could stop that darkness by doing something inherently dark, making a mistake, failing. He punished himself for that more than anyone around him did. Leia did not punish him that hard. Han probably didn't punish him that hard. I doubt it. Luke beat himself up more than anything else. And that's remorse. Where he fell was he was wallowing in it. He allowed it to kind of permeate his entire existence. And, for me, it took me some years, but I eventually figured out how to take that guilt, that regret, that stain on my record, as it were, and kind of flip it on its head so I can push myself to do things that I never thought I could do before. Develop a sense of discipline that benefits me. Develop a work ethic that I should have had all those years ago, And I recognize in saying this, like, how illogical that is, because I'm 32 now. I was 18 when I dropped out of high school. I could easily default to, I was a teenager and I was bullheaded and I thought I was infallible, and the usual 18-year-old young man bravado.
Yeah.
But I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do that. I have to recognize it for what I feel it was, which was a lack of discipline, a lack of ambition, and a stubborn nature that was way out of control. So that's kind of why one of the reasons I found Luke's arc in The Last Jedi so endearing and so compelling was because, like, I felt it. Like, I was like, I get that, man. I know what that's like. Not so much the threatening family with lightsabers and, homicide.
I mean, you've come at me with one of those things before. You get pretty violent with a lightsaber.
I have a mean swing. What can I say?
How about I'm sorry?
No, I shall not apologize. You earned every whip with that. So what about you, man?
I mean, redemption, it's always been a tough subject for me, just because, I've talked about issues I've had with my extended family before. And when I was young, before I knew better, I gave them every chance to, change, make it up to me, or essentially redeem themselves to me. I don't want to sound pretentious with that. It's just, that's the situation I found myself in. And they didn't do it. So, I just stopped caring. I stopped trying. For moments where I redeemed myself, I never had that many, but I mean the ones that I had. I mean, the only one that I ever regret is that I never. My grandma before she passed would always talk about me coming out there during like the summer vacation or something. And I mean, I never did. I never ended up going and visiting her. And then I moved out to Texas, and 2 weeks after I got my first job, she ended up passing away and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get the chance to go back and see her or make it like go and see her one last time.
Yeah.
In a way, I could probably say that I was redeemed with. I finally got a hold of her. I made a phone, like I talked to her before she passed, and I mean, she told me, be happy, do good in life, be happy.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like I've done everything I can to live up to that.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, I don't know, man. I haven't had really a whole lot of redeeming moments in my life.
Yeah, I've had too many. I've had too many. There's a long list of character flaws here, which, I would say definitely in the last 5 years, I have probably been putting in the most amount of work in unassing some of my more, let's call them some of my least endearing qualities. And along the way, of course, there were some major fuck ups. Some are not necessary to be told, but suffice it to say, and that's the hard thing. It's hard to admit that you've done fucked up things, right? That's a hard thing to admit. Now, I mean, none of them were intentionally hurtful. Like, it was never like I set out to fucking crush somebody. No. But, of course, being bipolar didn't help. I had a real rough period right around the age of 24, 23. I was not good, not in a good place. Yeah. And that took years to claw my way out from that hole that I dug myself in. And it took a lot of real brutally honest conversations with myself, with psychiatrists, with my wife, a whole lot of real brutal conversations where I had to have the mirror held up to my face. And, when you see all that ugly, it shifts your perspective real fucking fast. Yeah. You know what I mean? And not to put such a bleak picture on it, because I have made some incredible strides. There's still little things that I'd love to get better at, like being less interested in what I've got going on, more interested in what other people around me have going on, not being so self-centered. But there's an emotional maturity that I have reached that took many, many years of walking through thorn bushes, essentially, walking through minefields to get through. And I don't want to put too much of a dramatic spin on it like that, but again, I go back to my original point. You can break trust in a second, and it could take years to rebuild. And I definitely lived that experience, which is the thing that makes the redemption in Star Wars a little unrealistic to me, because you didn't get that with some of those major redeemed characters. They didn't have to walk on broken glass to make up for their mistakes. And then you think of the Bloodline novel. There was a really interesting moment in that novel where Leia is thinking about Vader, and all she can correlate him with is he tortured me. He was complicit in the destruction of my entire family and home. And he was my dad. And my brother was telling me, he's cool now. You get that sense of real conflict, which is what it would be.
Yeah.
Realistically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, does she ever get to talk to his Force ghost?
As far as we know, no. And personally, would that be gratifying? Yeah.
If it was on Maury, it would be.
Oh, God, you had to take what could be a beautiful, tender moment. You had to bring it down to Maury Povich's level.
I mean, would you rather it be Jerry Springer?
Is there a difference?
I feel Maury is more level. Jerry Springer just wants people to fight and beat the shit out of each other.
You think Maury is the moral center there?
I didn't say moral center. I just said I feel like he would be more balanced.
Oh God, they are peddlers of pain.
Yes.
Ugh, God, it makes me feel gross. But like, I don't know if I would want Leia to have that
interaction with Vader.
I think yeah, because I think the fact that she is so conflicted around that makes her more human, right? Yeah. And because like I think if they had like a daddy-daughter makeup, like we're fine now, it would kind of cheapen the more dramatic elements of that angle. The fact that like, man, she is conflicted, Yeah, her dad was redeemed and he came back to the light side and he saved Luke's life, and she's just like, well, he still threw a
fucking dick.
He still threw a fucking torture droid at me. Like, I mean, come on.
It wasn't that big of a needle.
Dude, I don't know. It looked like here's the problem with me. Every time I see that scene with the torture droid and the needle, I'm like, that's heroin. That is some pure Afghan.
Why does it have to be heroin?
Because it looks like fucking heroin.
It's a clear liquid in a tube. What?
It's a white liquid, pal. I think.
No, it's pretty clear.
Is it?
It's. I think the most of the coloring comes from the tube.
I'm still sticking with heroin.
Hold on.
I wonder if it was like a stormtrooper who just wanted to have a good time, and he didn't realize that. No, I wasn't going there. You gross man. He had the droid on his own, and he was going to have a good time, and he didn't realize they were going to requisition that droid for actual torture. I wasn't going there with it, you sick bastard. Gross.
That's his daughter.
Ew. Wait a minute. Why do you go there?
So it's the front half of it's like a solid white color. The back half is a clear.
Look, no. We can't gloss over the fact that like I was angling towards just casual drug use, and you were going like, Let the record stand that I'm not the most fucked up one on this show.
I think we've stood by that fact for a while now. I'm just saying. If you guys need any more proof that I'm the normal one, I wouldn't go normal.
More normal? It's a sliding scale. scale.
Yeah, it's a sliding scale.
I like how we pivoted from talking about one of my greatest regrets to that, and now we're.
But look, Kitty.
Wow. We're grasping for straws when we bring out the cats. I don't know, man.
They're begging for food.
I mean, let's think of some other redemption arcs.
They're
everywhere.
What about in Clone Wars? You have Rexes.
Yeah. Or even Ahsoka. She doesn't exactly redeem herself by going back to the Jedi, but she definitely, I don't know. She had
she goes in that final season of Clone Wars. She does go from someone who's like, the galaxy can fight its war, I don't want any part of it, to I still want to help people. I have the power to help people. I still want to help people.
Yeah,
I don't have to be a Jedi to do that.
Right. No, I couldn't have said it better myself. There's even like the crew from Rogue One. I mean, they were all to some extent, trying to redeem themselves. Like even Cassian, the way I read Cassian in Rogue One by the end of the movie is that he volunteered for this mission because he wanted to do one thing, with a clear conscience.
Well, and I mean, in the hangar when he's introducing everyone who wants to go on the mission, he's like, saboteurs, spies. We've all done some horrible shit.
Yeah,
but we want to help.
Yeah, again, I mean, I go back to that. Like he just wanted to do one thing with a clear conscience, without having a conflict or some more shame or some more guilt that he would have to carry forward.
Yeah.
Jyn Erso had a redemption arc in that one. Bodhi Rook. I mean, Bodhi fucking Rook. The dude. I mean, the dude literally went from like this shit scared Imperial defector to, I'm going to sacrifice myself because it needs to happen, or I'm going to connect this communication line because if I don't, this is all for nothing. God damn, man.
Well, do we want to talk about Saw Gerrera?
Yeah, I mean, even Saw Gerrera.
It wasn't like, it was kind of a redemption. I don't want to say it was, but you have that moment where he's at the point we see him in. It's a big difference between Clone Wars and Rebels and Rogue One.
Yep.
In Rogue One, he's basically this old man who is overly suspicious of everything and everyone.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where even Jyn Erso, he's like, did they send you here to kill me?
Yeah.
And I mean, and then kind of towards the end there, he kind of like, it's time to quit. And then he just like stands there and lets the debris just destroy him.
Yeah.
He's like, it's time. I'm ready to go see my sister.
Yeah. And again, there's common threads there because, Saw Gerrera is a guy that definitely fudged the line ethically, morally, and he doesn't survive. Yeah, I mean, he does something right and he gets Jyn that message, but he doesn't make it out of there.
No.
And even the same with Jyn's father. Like his redemption was building the weakness into the Death Star, giving them the plans, making it available. But even he didn't make it out because at the end of the day, even though Jyn explains it as like it was going to get built anyway, he was just the fact that he was still part of it.
Yeah.
Whether or not his final acts were, righteous.
Well, I mean, in the way he talks, he realizes his hands are dirty in all of this. I mean, and even the way like when Krennic is talking to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and again, it does. I don't know. I just, there's something about it that it just bothers me when the easy way is just to kill him off, right? Like that's just the easy. I don't know. It's
they killed off the character and took the easy way out.
Well, yeah, I mean, and like, I don't know. I like redemption arcs. I really do. But, I want a little bit of pain in that redemption. Like, I want you to have to walk over some broken glass, because that's life. That's life. That's what redemption is in real life. You have to walk over broken glass to prove that you're trustworthy, to prove that you are sincere. You don't get to just do a good thing and then check out and be like, oh yeah, you know what? He was a stand-up guy. Like, it doesn't work that way. I don't know. Maybe it would have been more interesting if Galen Erso survived. Maybe. And, he had to work the rest of his life to make up for that one mistake, because even though he gave them the plans, even though he built that weakness in there, a planet was still kerploded and billions of people still died. You know what I mean? Your hands aren't
he
clean.
should have to answer to he would have to answer to Cardoon.
Yeah.
What?
Man. No, I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
What? What's wrong?
It's just
what's wrong? Come on.
It's just Gina Carano. It just sucks. She posts some really fucking regrettable things, and I don't want to go into it because look, not that I want to like fully address this in any kind of real way, but like, I'm not putting these fucking celebrities up on a pedestal, man. Like, they are people that make pretend and get paid a lot of fucking money to do it. And at the end of the day, they're people. Their opinions are either going to gel with yours or they're going to fucking suck and you're going to fucking hate it. But you know what? I am not going to let one person's regrettable opinions or opinions that I disagree with really fuck with my appreciation of the character. And I know that sounds
so it's just that you disagree with her opinion on something. It's not
vehemently.
It's not like she posted like revenge porn of a significant other.
No, but like it's just it's more so also the fact that like, because, and I'm not trying to rip on anyone for being opinionated. Your opinions are yours, and that's what social media is for. It's for putting a fucking megaphone to your opinions. But
almost like a podcast.
But when we take these celebrities and their opinions and we put more weight to them than what is absolutely fucking necessary. Oh my God, that bothers me. Like, they are people that make pretend for a living. And why, under what pretense are we elevating what they have to say above anyone else's? I don't know. I'm trying not to rant on that because my views on it are very complicated.
Don't worry about it.
Or convoluted for me.
Just think about the character, Cara Dune. She was from Alderaan.
Yeah. She's from Alderaan. Yeah, that's where she's from.
His ass.
Yeah, she would. I don't know.
She might kill him.
I don't know. Fuck. I don't know. It's just so
really sounded like you're 32 there, Kevin.
Dude, it's so regrettable. It's
something political, I'm sure. I'm not worried about it.
A little bit of that, a little bit of other things. It's just, I don't. Yeah. Anyway.
So redemption.
God. Well. It'd be nice if. Never mind.
Shut up.
I'm shutting up. I don't. Okay, so like, what redemption arc would you say that you identify with the hardest, and why?
Well, which redemption arc? Just had to ask me that fucking question.
It's an interesting question.
It is an interesting question. Maybe I would say Zeb's from Rebels.
Okay. Go on.
The redemption of how he had given up on his people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Zeb's typically, before this, Zeb was typically a very angry guy. I mean, I can live with that. I've had anger issues in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's really not willing to really give his people a chance. I mean, for me, I mean, I resonate with that. I can see there's a lot of people that I'm like, you don't deserve another chance.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the fact that at the end he does redeem himself by, he gives him that last chance, and it's nice that everything turns out well, and they end up finding the Lasat homeworld.
Right.
So I mean, I feel with that one. I feel that one.
Yeah. Thinking about Rebels, Agent Callus comes to mind.
I was thinking about Callus too, but I was like, I really don't resonate with Callus too much.
And you know why I like Callus's redemption arc? Because he doesn't get to cop out of all the shitty things he did by just dying.
That's fair.
Like, that's a dude that, motherfucker, you're going to live with it. All the shitty things you did, you're going to fucking live with it. Yeah. And you're going to have to work your ass off to prove that you're righteous again. You know what? I fucking like Callus's redemption arc. I really do. But I also like Kanan's. I like Kanan's too. Kanan, his entire arc is partially, and I mean, think about it. Like, this is, and what I appreciate most about it is that its premise was that, revealing himself as a Jedi or training another Jedi made him shit scared. Like, it's shit scared.
Yeah.
And regardless of that fear, he walked through it, and he did it anyway. And that's courage. When you're shit scared to do something, but you fucking do it anyway, that's courage. And I really like that. Because even on a micro level, I can relate to that. And this is going to sound really bro-y. I apologize. It's going to sound really bro-y. But the strength training, the powerlifting, the one lift that scares the shit out of me the most is the squat. Because for me, that's the one that the most could go wrong and could be the most catastrophic in terms of if something fucking goes sideways, whoo boy. And when I get up to a certain weight threshold, usually somewhere up near the 300-pound range, even if I smoke it, even if I fucking sink that motherfucker and stand right back up with it, there is never a moment where I put that bar on my fucking back and I am not shit scared to do it. There's never a moment, especially over that 300-pound threshold. I will fucking be shit scared every time. Because in my head, 300 pounds, even that's enough to fuck you up permanent. You know what I mean? So I can relate to that on a very micro level. Like, and that's something that we have to do in life. I think that life is defined most by those little moments of courage, those little brave steps that we make throughout the day. And even if that's something as banal as getting under a squat bar or, doing something risky at work that's going to scare the shit out of you, but you got to get it fucking done anyway, because how else are you going to get paid? It's those little moments of bravery that tend to define us. Yeah. I mean, like, what? Give me an example. What was a moment that you were fucking like shaking in your fucking boots about something, but you had to fucking walk through it anyway?
Moving out here to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've got no family out here. I was 20 living at my mom's, and my life was going nowhere. I didn't have a license. I didn't have a job history. I had nothing but my high school diploma.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I had wanted to move out here for a while, but I finally made the decision that, you know what, it needs to be done.
Yeah.
And I need to do this for me. It was a decision I had to make. And I mean, I'd been fighting with it for a long time. I wasn't too sure about it. I finally went ahead and just did it. I've never looked back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, shit, dude, I can think of right before I went into treatment for bipolar disorder for the very first time, I was shit scared. I was shit fucking scared because I was going to have to do that vomitous thing where I put all of the bad stuff I've done on the table and I have an impartial third party sift through it. And then on top of that, there was a fear about not knowing what the other side of treatment was. I was scared of taking a medication because I didn't know what that was going to do to me. In a fucked up way, the manic depressive cycle that I was on, it was comfortable because it was predictable. It was either predictably erratic or predictably miserable, but it was something that I was familiar with, one of those, like, you're comfortable in your misery kind of things. Yeah. And the prospect of going to another end of that and going through treatment, I didn't know what to expect on that end. I didn't know what that was going to be like. Yeah. Ultimately I'm super glad I did because, that version of me, no, not the best me at all. And then that is in and of itself something of redemption, maybe, yeah, for the people around you, but also for yourself too. Like, I mean, I think that when people make the decision to go into treatment for either a mental illness or a substance abuse issue,
yeah,
that takes incredible courage to walk that path, to go down that road. I can remember my aunt was a drinker, bad alcoholic, and for years, it was just getting worse, and she went to rehab. She admitted that she had a problem. She went to rehab, and when she came out, she was a different person, different person. And, she had burned some bridges, and that took time to repair, but it was one of those situations that, like, everyone was so happy that she made that choice and she took that step. that everyone was very willing and open to mending those fences,
Yeah.
which doesn't happen all the time, right?
Yeah.
In reality, sometimes people fuck you over bad enough to where you just cut them out. You know, I think there's an appropriate level of there's not. Well, I don't think. Let me rephrase that. There is no appropriate level of toxicity when it comes to your relationships, and I am not one of those guys that necessarily believes blood is thicker than water. I don't buy that for a second.
No.
I think something of a cop out, because it in a way it lends itself to a denial of culpability, right? Like leaning on the phrase "blood is thicker than water." You know, when someone, even if they're in your immediate family, fucks you over so bad, like real bad, sometimes they're not deserving of a second chance. You know, and that's reality, right? It can't all be wonderful works of fiction where, you know, for better or worse, things end up okay, right? It doesn't always work like that, you know? So yeah, I mean, I think my better nature would like to believe that everyone is worthy of redemption. And I think to some extent, maybe, I'm not ignorant enough to think that like the severity of your the severity of the what's the word I'm thinking of? I'm blanking on the damn word. You know, I think if you fuck up bad enough, like if there's major consequences, then maybe there isn't redemption for you. Maybe not in the traditional sense, of like everyone's hunky dory now. You know, that's where it gets complicated. That's why these stories are so easily digestible, because there are, even though elements can be complicated, at the end of the day, they're palatable. Like, it's real palatable. Ben and Vader's redemption is very palatable. You know, it tastes good. Like when it happens, it's like, good, you know? Whereas life can be a little more complicated than that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah. I went on a long one there. Sorry. It's an interesting subject. It's an interesting part of the Star Wars mythos that, you know, because it's so integral, it keeps popping up, but it keeps popping up in different shades. You know,
Yeah.
There's the Pantheon redemption arcs, which is like Vader and Ben. Then there's things below that, but they all have that element to it. You know, like Kanan's was really interesting. Callus, Zeb, you know, and it's curious. It's curious going into the future, because, you know, we have names like Grand Admiral Thrawn being bandied about, and he's gotten his own book series. You know, is there redemption for a character like him? I don't know. I mean, does he have the potential to be like a complicated anti-hero character, kind of like the Mandalorian is in a way? You know, Mandalorian season 1, he's definitely operating in a bit of a morally gray area. You know, so that, I mean, it bodes interesting for the future.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on an hour. What do you say we speculate for just a little bit?
Okay.
So Hayden's coming back as Vader. What role do you think Vader's going to have?
In Kenobi?
Yeah.
Maybe hunting down the remnants of the Jedi. Could be that, you know, Kenobi, like a Jedi might stumble across Kenobi on Tatooine, and Vader comes looking, and Obi-Wan has to avoid him at all costs, and like maybe, or lead him away from Luke.
Yeah. I mean, that could get interesting.
I mean, they could give the moment where Vader stops on Tatooine and like looks off in the distance for some reason, and like, but have him be in the exact same pose as he was on the Death Star when he was like, "Feel a presence I've not felt since."
Yeah. I think it'd be interesting if Hayden filled 2 roles. I think it'd be interesting if he
Darth Vader.
Yeah, like as like flashbacks to Anakin. And then if we get to see a shot of Hayden in the getup with all the makeup in like in the chamber that Vader's in,
That'd be cool.
that would be sick. I mean, that would be sick.
Yeah.
Come on. I don't know, man. I think I read that this Kenobi series it's like a mini series, so it might only be like 4 episodes. But I'm pretty stoked on that one.
Well, we've been waiting for that for how long?
Oh God, I mean years. It's been rumored for years.
Yeah.
You know, which is why I knew that the Ahsoka series was definitely going to happen, because like 2, it's been in the rumor mill forever. 3, 1 and then 2, idiot. 2, you don't cast a Rosario Dawson for 1 episode.
Yeah.
You don't do that. You don't make one of the most famous fan castings a thing for just 1 episode. Like, no. But that one has the potential to be really interesting because Sabine, Ezra, Thrawn, we know Ahsoka's looking for Thrawn. They already dropped the plot right there in The Mandalorian, but we can't discuss The Mandalorian because it's not done yet, and we told you we wouldn't. So, yeah. Anyway, fun little bit of speculation there. A little sousson of speculation. What do you say, Brad? You want to land this bird?
Let's land this bird.
Let's do it. Let's do it, because his wife could go into labor at any second, and he needs to be ready. He needs to be fit as a fiddle, ready to go. So,
Sure. We'll go with that.
Yeah. So, of course, Brad, where can they find you?
Y'all can find me on Twitter now. I am Intrepid Co-host. You can also find me on the Force Losers Facebook, just Force Losers. We're good. We're good there. You can find me on Xbox, Grenadier117, if you want to play some games.
I don't have an Xbox anymore.
I know, it makes me sad too.
Yeah, I saw that Walmart is selling the Series X for $4.99.
Well, that's the Series X. That's the one that just came out.
Yeah, I know, and I want it.
Just look for an Xbox One X. It's like $200 cheaper.
No, I want the new one.
Why do you want the new?
Because it's new. It's brand new.
It's like $499.
I'm gonna steal it. That's what I'm gonna do.
No, you ain't.
I'm gonna Spider-Man my way onto a truck, and it's gonna fall off. That's my plan. I've seen Spy Kids like a bunch of times. I know what I'm doing.
Like a bunch of times.
Like a bunch of times. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah,
Gadgets and shit. You know. Or I'll just pull a Terminator and like just go to a parked truck full of Xboxes, like open the door and tell the guy get out, and then just drive away with it. It's a standard, so I'll only make it about 10 feet, if that.
But, that's right. When we worked for the pest control company, you always had the automatic.
Yeah, I'm not learning how to drive standard. It's an antiquated technology. If it was useful, we wouldn't have automatic transmissions.
It's called anti-theft device, Kevin.
No, it is an antiquated technology. Would it make any more sense for me to get to work with a horse-drawn buggy?
Yes.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
Gas.
No, because we have automobiles. My work truck is slowly falling